My name is Lee Sargent, and I love the experience of having a great cocktail. I've always been on the lookout to try new bars with drinks that give their guests not just a buzz, but an adventure. This inspired me to start my own personal mission to track down the finest libation artists who can think outside the box, share the best-kept secrets, and make cocktail history. In order to do this, I have created my own cocktail classified ads. Most people don't realize that classified ads were the golden goose of the newspaper business. People would look through those pages to find jobs, buy used cars, or sell furniture and even bicycles. Using my own customized ads, I'll challenge a bartender at any location I visit to create a cocktail that has yet to be introduced to the world. When you're searching for that perfect drink that has substance and sass, you'll find it in the cocktail classifieds. Up the road from the heart of downtown Chicago, there lies an up-and-coming neighborhood known as Rogers Park. This area is packed with character, culture, and well known for its social inclusivity. It's also home to a cocktail bar, which has been thriving in the community for nearly a decade. Rogers Park Social. Run by longtime friends Eric and Wally, the bar is literally a dream come true for the two of them.
I mean, I started working in bars when I was 18 years old. This was always a dream of mine. I always said one day I'm going to open my own bar. And I went to work for a big telecom company in the country and got laid off from that and kind of took my severance and was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to what I loved doing from day one. And throughout my time at that company, I filled in bartending, and that's actually how I met Wally. I was filling at another local bar, and Wally ended up getting employed there, and I was just covering a shift, and that's how we became friends and kind of ran with the idea together and got it done.
My degree is actually in chemistry, and I found myself sitting in a lab not really interacting with people, and that just wasn't my thing. People are fun to be around, and sitting in a lab by yourself, repeating the same thing over and over just to make sure that the numbers are close enough just isn't as much fun.
So, what's your favorite thing to make on the cocktail menu?
We're really proud of our margarita. That's something that we put on our menu when we first opened. People say it's one of the best they've ever had, and we do it slightly differently than a lot of them. So we're serving it shaken and up instead of over ice or frozen. And we take a lime and juice that in there, and then take the lime, turn it inside out, and float some orange liqueur in there, like a mandarin liqueur. And it's a really eye-catching drink and really just a lot of fun. So no matter what, I always lean back on that because I know people are gonna like it. Plus it's kind of boozy.
This margarita is definitely a familiar, yet tasty choice. However, Wally also loves to think outside the box, coming up with shrewd cocktail themes, such as breakfast cereal?
The cereal thing is weird. It came about because this is a cocktail menu that I came up with right during COVID, and I just wanted to balance things with the cereals that I like. We had talked about having a cereal party one day, and so I just took that and turned it into drinks.
As luck would have it, this experiment of Wally's fits perfectly with the cocktail classifieds ad that we've brought for him.
Oh, perfect. So this is, of course, one of my cereal drinks. So I infuse scotch with shredded wheat. I do that for 2 days. And then I add nocino, which is a walnut liqueur, and then a little bit of leather tobacco bitters. And then I stir that all up and serve it over fresh ice. It's called the rockin' chair because it's supposed to taste kind of like what an old man would be drinking sitting in his rockin' chair.
See, it's interesting because I've never really been much of a Scotch guy myself. It's always been too peaty for me, but this is kind of like a Scotch old-fashioned, and it balances it out perfectly.
It really does, and that was the whole goal.
Whether you're a Chicago local or just a tourist, find some time to head up north on the Red Line to visit the budding neighborhood of Rogers Park. And of course, Rogers Park Social, where you'll always be treated like a member of the family. Naperville, Illinois. one of the more well-known neighborhoods of the Chicago area, and also happens to be my childhood hometown. Within the past decade, Naperville has made that unmistakable jump from being a quiet town to raise a family to being an actual city, complete with a comprehensive restaurant and bar scene. Furthermore, above Empire Burger Bar, which is located in the downtown area, here lies Naperville's very first speakeasy, Northcott Liquorette. Like most speakeasies, Northcott is inspired by the secret bars and drinkeries of the 1920s Prohibition era. This place is always innovating through their cocktails, creating fire options such as the Satan's Gatorade and the Blood and Smoke. And when I say fire, I mean actually on fire.
What we want in this room is something that's cozy in here, but a little bit more upscale than what we're doing at Empire.
Are the bartenders like improvising a lot?
Absolutely, all the time. So if there's a cocktail that we don't have on our menu, they call it dealer's choice. They'll make them something 9.5 times out of 10. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know I would like this, or this was a great idea, thank you very much. No offense to bartenders out there, but it takes a special bartender to work this room.
The cocktails here certainly make a splash, but nothing spells pushing the envelope more than Northcott's libation kettles or their absinthe fountains. Yes, I said libation kettles, and yes, I said absinthe fountains.
It's all Prohibition and pre-Prohibition presentation, especially the absinthe fountain. It's more about the show than it is the go. I think it's utilized really well in France, early 1900s. The disco kettles, it's all harkens back to them hiding booze during Prohibition, tea clubs and speakeasies to get away from the legality of it. But we throw dry ice in ours, so it looks like it really ups the show of oh yeah, this is just a teapot. And half the time when you drop them to a table, people say oh, it's hot, and it's no, it's fun. And also there's a screen in there so that it doesn't kill you.
Nate is one of the premier bartenders at Northcott and has years of experience in the craft cocktail scene. With the reputation that the bartenders here have, it seems only right that I challenge him with an ad that seems unlikely to accomplish.
Okay. This is basically a version of a shot that in the 90s they made in the West Coast. It's called a Surfer on Acid. We offer this as a punch-style cocktail in our teapots. The difference is the shot was really just 3 ingredients: pineapple, coconut rum, and Jägermeister. We bumped that up to kind of lean into the tiki idea with Averna and pistachio orgeat. So it has some more complexity. It has a little bit more bitterness quality to it. The balance from being just a shot that's a little bit over the top, because we're not going to layer a shot, but this is a great starting idea for a bigger drink. Taking a shot to something that is shareable and fun without just the harshness of a Jaeger, right?
Has almost a little bit of a banana tone to it. It's very tropical.
I feel like I'd love to have a couple of these right next to the beach, at a resort or something. This is awesome.
If you happen to be visiting downtown Naperville, don't blink or you'll miss Northcott Liquorette, where you'll truly feel like a part of the inner circle. Remember though, while you may not need a secret password like in the 1920s, you'll need a reservation to enter. But also, unlike the 1920s, it's all perfectly legal. Glen Ellen, Illinois is the epitome of what you would want in a friendly Midwestern neighborhood. Good people, clean streets, and many boutique shops with their own niche. Our next stop happens to look very much like one of those boutique shops from the outside, but has a special gift for libations on the inside. Common Good Cocktail House. This place has an outstanding reputation throughout the Chicago suburban area, expanding the possibilities of what a cocktail could be, whether it be weird or familiar. Run by its owner Chad, his wife Alicia, and their friend Mike, the three have a clear objective for the bar, specifically for hospitality.
We feel like hospitality is only in the direction of an owner to a guest. But I can help transfer the ownership that I have into to you just by making you feel at home, making you feel like you're the owner of the house.
Common Good has a crazy yet endearing inspiration behind its company logo. It features a hand holding a Genepi flower which is grown from wormwood, a key ingredient in certain spirits. And the Swedish word for wormwood happens to be Malort. And for those who don't know, Malort is an infamous liquor from the Chicago area known for its, shall we say, bitterness.
It's like biblically bitter spirit where you're like, if you're saying, I am oppressed, I am afflicted, like my life sucks, you're talking about like drinking Malort. Genepi, which was just this poetic flower for us because in these hard to grow climatic conditions, a specific type of bitter wormwood blossoms this sweet, beautiful flower. I like to believe that as human beings, we're designed in such a way that, hey, we taste sweetness more vividly when we've tasted bitterness. And we can recognize the goodness in something more accurately when we've tasted bitterness, when we've seen the worst.
Now that is a pretty cool story for a beautiful logo. This house has one of the largest cocktail menus I have ever seen, which could be daunting to some. However, Common Good's assistant bar manager, Morgan, has a very calculated approach to any guest that walks through their door.
It always depends on the person and how their body language is. And if they're walking in and they're really uncomfortable, I'm not going to serve them a super weird drink first. I'm going to serve them something they're comfortable with and then take them more on a journey. If they enjoyed that, then let's try this. Let's spin you out of your comfort zone. Or some people come in there like, what's the weirdest thing you've got? I'm like, great, I have a Roquefort cheese cocktail on the menu just for you.
With her being so skilled and confident, it might surprise some people that, in fact,
I came in with no experience. I had never drank before when I was hired here. Never drank, as in one of my first questions was, what is the difference between bourbon and wine? By the time I reached our third and top tier of level bartending, I'd been working here for about a year, and I've been bartending for another year after that. Currently, one of my favorites, at least right now, is Escape from a Hula. It's one of the cocktails that I developed, so it's been fun to shake it and actually see it come out in real life.
it looks like Morgan craves a real challenge. And with our next cocktail ad, I think that she's definitely got one.
So if I'm a crazy uncle and I don't want to look like an alcoholic, I'm going to want something that's not in a manly glass, so I chose to chill a Nick and Nora to make sure it looks like I'm not drinking too much. I went with a base of bourbon, Heaven Hill 7-Year, one of my favorite cocktailable bourbons. After that, I decided to add a little bit of a low ABV Cap Corse Blanc so that it lightened up the flavor a little bit. It's also clear, so it's not going to look as brown and stirred. And then I've got a bittersweet Brovo Aperitivo, came out this year, we're really excited about it. To even it out, I added a little bit of scotch because we can't forget too much booze in here. I stirred it, and then I added a lemon garnish for the aromatics of the lemon as well as the nice little garnish you see there.
What do you call it?
I have no name for that. How about Friday Afternoon Delight?
If I were just sitting in like an old man's bar or like a place where it feels like home, like this, I definitely want to have something like these.
If you're looking to find the sweetness in life's bitterness, or just your new favorite drink, come by Common Good Cocktail House to find a home away from home. There are approximately 62,647 registered bars in the U.S., which means there are many other locations changing the libation experience for me to find. On top of that, I've got many more ads with challenges for other cocktail creatives to fulfill. Join me next time when I venture out to our next group of contenders. And remember, when you're searching for that perfect drink with substance and sass, you'll find it in the Cocktail Classifieds.